What's going on, guys? TKD123 with it, and today we're going to be reviewing another album like we do every Sunday on the channel. Every single Sunday you're going to get a album review from yours truly of a new album that I listen to over the course of the week, and I give my final thoughts towards the end of the week. Now this week we are reviewing a artist that, started his origins on YouTube, which I believe, I'm pretty sure that's 100%, because that's how I found him personally, and that's where he was mainly, in the whole scheme of content, everything like that. He was definitely more heavy on YouTube, and he go by his name of SoMo. So without further ado, today we're going to be reviewing his latest album, The Answers by SoMo. Now look, guys, okay, so like I have a list, right? So I have a list that kind of is on my iPhone, right? And it's of albums that, I'm not really gonna pay a lot of attention to in terms of, quickness to have them reviewed or quickness to listen to them, you know what I'm saying? Just because, just maybe because, I'm just not that interested, right? You know what I'm saying? And that is really not the case here with SoMo, but I just, it was around the season where we had the Drake album come out, we had the Kendrick album come out, we had a bunch of big things that, Big Sean as well, we had a bunch of big things in the way. So I kind of put SoMo kind of like on that list, kind of just hold on, and then we got an off week as you see here, and I decided to review him, you know what I'm saying? So for, a lot of you guys that follow my reviews every week, you guys see that, is that, he's a little bit kind of different in, kind of what I'm looking for in the artist, like, okay, yeah, he does capitalize on the R&B style of things, but he's a little bit more heavy on the pop type of thing, right? Like he does a little bit more pop, a little bit, just a little bit above my taste, right? And I figured, hey man, because I've followed this man since like 2011, 2012, like, on his old YouTube channel, like he has like the Drake medley that I used to bump a lot, like he has a lot of great stuff, on his channel, and he would even do covers of popular songs every week. On Sunday he would upload them. So I was, a pretty heavy fan, you know what I'm saying? Then he got pretty big, he started putting out, albums, stuff like that, and I kind of, just fell out of it a little bit, just because I'm more interested in our music right now. But I decided to, just give him a little chance and give him a little review here on the channel. So The Answers, right? Like if you ever heard of SoMo, if you've ever heard a song by him or album by him or a project by him, this is through and through a SoMo album, and that, at first I was heavy on that, statement. I was heavy on that statement where it was like, wow, okay, this is just another SoMo album that I've heard before or whatever. But, as the week progressed, right, and as, we listened to an album repeatedly, or we, just do anything in general, right, like we always get another opinion, in us. There's always a little thing that happens when something resonates with you, whether it be a video game, whether it be a book, whether it be a movie, whether it be, of course, here right now, an album. Things kind of take a little bit of time to resonate to, right? And so this took a little bit of time to resonate with me, but there are some differences, but that same initial opinion is kind of what I still have at this point. Now, going through the album at first, right, I felt like, okay, this is just a typical, pop sounds we're gonna get, especially heavy in the beginning. Like the whole, beginning half really is, a SoMo album through and through. Like he's talking about the same things, he's talking, and there was something that I kept, getting thought of, right? And that is that if we look at SoMo, right, like I think at this point, I think he's mid-25. Actually, no, he's actually 29 years old. Like, this man's almost 30, right? So keep that in mind, okay? He's 29 years old. I originally found him on YouTube around 2011. Like, like that's when I heavily found him and stuff like that. It was around 2011, 2012, you know what I'm saying? And, he would just do his thing, right? But kind of, if we look at this album, right, if we look at, just the man behind the album, now, this is nothing to be, I guess, I'm not trying to say that this isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? Like, I'm not trying to say that, oh, like, you can't sing about this stuff if you're 29 years old, you know what I'm saying? But my thing here is that, like, from a personal standpoint, right, just from me, just from, me llamo Kevin, you know what I'm saying, like, just from me, right, I feel like I wanted something a little bit more different from SoMo, being 29 years old, being, having a couple years in his music, and, having, just all of this content we've got from him, saying, like, whether it be the albums, the projects, or the YouTube channel. Like, I've listened to him for many years now, and just kind of with this album, I was hoping that it was going to be something a little bit more, I don't want to say mature, I don't want to use mature to, like, imply that, oh, like, like, just because in this album he talks about sex, and he talks about, you know, kind of stuff that kind of a younger audience would kind of you know, like, not like to hear, but, you know, would tend to hear, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like something that was more skewed for a younger audience, that's some sort of a bad thing. That's not a bad thing, right? But it's just, you know, just with me personally, I was, you know, wanting and yearning for something a little bit more mature. Like let me listen to, you know, maybe your not happiest song, right? And, you know, like let me listen to maybe the deep thoughts and deep emotions that you have later on at the end of the night that you don't necessarily want to talk about. And of course, you know, again, I'm gonna get the, you know, not even I'm gonna get that, but like kind of, you know, like who are you to say that, oh yeah, you have to expose all of your, you know, all of your demons inside, and, you know, expose everything that you don't want to talk about, make an album about. Like, you know, like I'm not trying to say that. What I'm saying is, I guess it was my expectation, really, is what it comes down to. I'm saying, like, it's what I was expecting out of this album. I was, and kind of, I guess, hoping for, you know, I was hoping for something a little bit more deeper, you know what I'm saying, than the standard in the nicest way possible, you know what I'm saying, in the most standard SoMo way of an album, right, where it's kind of, you know, you just get the pop songs, you get the kind of upbeat vibe to it, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just something that I was hoping we would have gotten with this album. And, you know, there are parts in this album where we kind of get hints of it, and there really is a little bit scattered, you know, like across the entire album, where, you know, we, or at least me, you know, on like more of a personal standpoint, right, like I would, you know, I picked up, you know, some little hints of hopefully him, you know, latching on to an idea that would have, you know, tumbled into a deeper song, you know what I'm saying, but then we just go back to the chorus and it's just a regular, you know, sex song. Like, for example, Curve, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, in the beginning of Curve, right, like he's talking about, you know, kind of this overall theme of like yearning for someone back, and like, you know, just having a period of being without each other, and then, like, you know, just this you know, not elemental thing, but like this thing that always happens, you know, that tends to happen, where you guys kind of drift back to where you were, right? I thought that it was gonna be this whole song about that, but then, considering that, you know, the song is called Curve, he begins to talk about how, you know, she likes to, you know, have him hold on to the curve in his back or her back, and you know, have sex, like, you know, the regular standard SoMo affair. Now, you know, while I've gone on, you know, like on like a little tangent about how, you know, there are just aspects of this where I want a little bit more from, right? That's not to take away from what is the album. Like, you know, there is things to like about this album, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are kind of upbeat songs that kind of remind me of a little bit of like modern day R&B, you know what I'm saying? Like, I sense a little bit of Weeknd inspiration here. I sense a little bit of, you know, just overall kind of R&B in today's world, where, you know, it's attention grabbing, it's popping, it's, you know, it's there in your face. You know what I'm saying? Like there are things like that, you know, I can appreciate in this album, but I can totally appreciate it, but at the same time, you know, and again, to say this in the nice way possible, right? Like, with him being 29, I was expecting and maybe yearning, and you know, of course, this is obviously my opinion, right? I was just yearning for a little bit something more deeper, you know what I'm saying? Like a little something more thoughtful, more meaningful, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to, like, basically what I got out of this overwhelming thing of this album is, okay, like you mess with a girl, you do her wrong, and then you figure out that like she was the answer to everything, and then, you know, happy ending. Like, you know, I was expecting a little bit something different, you know, from SoMo. And I forgot to even bring up the logistics of this album, you know, everyone's favorite segment of this review, you know, the logistics, right? It's 13 songs and it's 43 minutes long. So, you know, it's a pretty, I guess, medium-sized album. It was not too big, not too small, you know, that kind of sweet, you know, kind of sweet point. But I will say that, you know, the runtime surprised me. Like, you know, it's a little bit lower than what I would assume 13 songs would be, but hey, you know, every album is different, every single project is different, so that's just what this one is. 13 songs, 40 minutes long, pretty easy to digest. So overall, do I recommend SoMo's? The answer is yes, I do. If you're a SoMo fan, I feel like if you're a diehard SoMo fan, you will get everything you ever want in this album, and it'd be, you know, everything that you're expecting, and it'd be beautiful, right? But in kind of in terms of me, where I kind of, you know, was a pretty big SoMo fan, right? And then I kind of fell back, you know, I kind of stepped back a little bit, didn't really pay too much, you know, mind or pay much attention to him, and then coming back and being reintroduced in a way, you know, I'm seeing, you know, the same familiarity that, you know, are with a lot of his albums, some hints of new things, but I'm left, you know, overall with wanting more of those little new things. I'm saying, like, I want just more of kind of the little sprinkles in the album as opposed to getting the base of what we got with this album. And that's all I got, guys. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share it down below. I appreciate it with me. Thanks for watching, and as always, I got you.